Tonight, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia spokesperson Miracles Aboagye is still in detention nearly 48 hours after EOCO arrested him over an alleged 55 million Ghana cedis fraud at the Inter-Ministerial Coordinating Committee on Decentralization Secretariat. With more details as the opposition NPP dares the anti-graft agency to prosecute Miracles Aboagye if it has a case against him.
That he was detained up to date, there has not been any interrogation. So the question you ask yourself, then what was the purpose, what was the need of keeping him in custody from Saturday to today?
We're live at the EOCO headquarters for the latest as supporters continue with the mass protest of his arrest. Top story is brought to you by Telecel Connecting Energies, Holy Insecticide Spray and Coil. Enjoy a holy sleep. Shield Pension Trust into the future with you. My name is Kenneth. Gyasi. When we return from the break, we will be speaking to the Director of Legal Affairs for the MPP, Gary Nimako. We'll also be engaging private legal practitioner Justice Abdullahi and also Rashid Tanko Computer, who's the Deputy Director of IT and Elections. Don't go anywhere.
Yo, Charlie, Telesurface broadband upgrade. Oh, you get up to 40% more data on the same old bundles. Best part, the bundles don't expire.
That's how we like it in the town.
Yeah, from on-cap speeds to fixed line calls and flexible data moves that allows you to move data up to 4 devices. Telecel offers an unmatched band for fixed broadband solutions for every need.
Telecel fixed broadband has got you.
For your home or business, experience the true broadband difference with up to 40% more data on Telesurface broadband at the same price. Move your non-expiry data to up to 4 devices. Get free fixed line calls and more tailored fixed broadband solutions for your home or business. Subscribe at www.telecel.com or download the Telecel Play app or visit a Telecel retail shop today.
Telecel, connecting energies.
Couldn't sleep at night. Mosquitoes will be whining my ears, bugging me all night long. Till I got a remedy. Now I'll be spraying them away with holy insecticide spray. Till I go spray them away with holy insecticide spray. When I sleep, me dana mata with holy insecticide spray.
Holy mosquito coil, holy multi-purpose insecticide spray. Dana kron kron. For bulk purchase, call 0302 681582. This advert is FDA approved.
Syntax Tango! Syntax, hey, tough, hey, strong. If you want quality, this be where you belong. Syntax, hey, tough, hey, strong. Oh, gonna shout and sing the song. Strong was anything. When the sun they hot, Syntax no break. When the rain they fall, still no shake. Builders they choose and plumbers they prove. Any project you they start. Syntax Tango! Strong was anything.
Mula Sports. See the all sharp, no long thing. MulaSports.com.gh. Instant win, instant cash out. MulaSports.com.gh. Mula Sports, we they run the city. Play, win, cash out. Yes, play and stand the chance to win Mula at MulaSports.com.gh. Enjoy premium soccer action, exciting trips on the aviator plane, and exciting spins on all your favorite virtual games. Mula Sports. More Mula. Bet responsibly. Gambling can be addictive. Not for persons under 18. This advertisement is regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana.
Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kindle Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom. Kingdom?
Well, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom, and my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first port of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office, Takweje, Osu near the Osu Cemetery, Tema near Community 4, Takoradi opposite Vijay Mays Plaza, Cape Coast University Bookshop, Spintex Road near Absa Bank, Atomic Center Point Mall, Winneba University Campus, KNUST, the University Bookshop, and Santasi in Kumasi. You can also visit our shop online, www.kingdomstoreonline.com. Hurry while stock lasts. For further inquiries, contact us on 050-162-0810 or 0302-764-101. Email info@kingdomgh.com. Kingdom Books and Stationery Limited, where quality and affordability is assured. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome to the program. Tonight, former Executive Secretary of the Inter-Ministerial Coordinating Committee on Decentralization, EOCO, Dennis Miracles Aboagye, remains in detention nearly 48 hours after the Economic and Organized Crime Office, EOCO, arrested him and others over an alleged 55 million cedis fraud at the Secretariat. In a statement issued this afternoon, EOCO said Mr. Aboagye, together with the former accountant of the Coordinating Committee, Appiah, and an unidentified individual is being investigated in connection with alleged financial and procurement-related irregularities at the Secretariat. The investigation follows a petition submitted by the current Executive Secretary of EOCO requesting further inquiries into a forensic audit of his predecessor's stewardship. My colleague Collins from Pond is joining me in studio with details of the statement that was released by EOCO a while ago. Collins, what does it say?
According to EOCO, the investigations launched after a petition from their current executive secretary and also a forensic audit covering August 2022 to February 2025 centers on the suspected misappropriation, diversion and theft of about 55 million Ghana cedis in public funds. Miracles and also former accountants of the Inter-Ministerial Coordinating Committee on Decentralization, Appiah and others are being investigated for offences including conspiracy to steal, stealing, using public office for profits, causing financial loss to the states, dissipation of public funds, defrauding by false pretenses, and money laundering. EOCO said Appiah has begun refunding some of the suspected stolen funds, but stressed that their repayments do not end the investigations or clear him of any criminal liability. According to EOCO, Miracles had been placed on stop list after fresh findings emerged last week. Although he had already left the country, he was arrested by the Ghana immigration officers upon his arrival at the Accra International Airport and handed over to EOCO on Sunday. He has since assisted investigators in searches linked to the case. EOCO said Miracles will be granted bail in line with Ghana's laws, while Appiah is also expected to meet his bail conditions and be released as investigations continue.
Collins from Pond there with a statement released by EOCO a while ago. And my colleague James Avaji has also spent his entire day at the EOCO headquarters. He's now back and is joining me in the studio with more. James, let's start briefly with an overview of the key event that happened there today. Let's begin with a slow start. Tell us.
Yes, Ken, it was indeed a slow start because the event originally was scheduled to begin at 7 a.m. but started at about 11 a.m. with the arrival of the National Youth Organizer Salam Mustafa, together with dozens of the party supporters on motorbikes. They had a few disagreements with the police officers on ground when they attempted to move out to occupy the entire road to create a blockade and seize traffic from flowing in front of the EOCO office. At one instance, the police had to use a pepper spray to disperse them off the road. And then, not too long, military officers together with national security operatives were brought in to collaborate with the police to finally get them off the roads to occupy, if you know the location quite well, the median as well as the shoulders of the road. As at the time I was leaving about an hour ago, there was total calm that has been restored by the security officers.
Interesting. And you've been speaking with a number of party officials. Let's begin with the General Secretary on the interrogation.
Exactly. So before him, we had a chat with the counsel for counsel to Dennis Miracles Aboagye Atachan, who indicated that when he came, he had a word with the officers, and when that statement from EOCO came in, you recall that it listed some 7, if you call it, charges in there. And so our expectation is that they have crossed the charges bit and they would be waiting for the bail application to be looked at. All in for the General Secretary together with the national organizer to go in there and come back and tell us that as at 2:30 p.m. the interrogation had not started by the...
As it stands now, the even interrogation has not started. Interrogation has not even started. From Saturday that he was detained up to date, there has not been any interrogation. So the question you ask yourself, then what was the purpose? What was the need of keeping him in custody from Saturday to today? What are they seeking to achieve? What are they seeking to achieve? And the sad thing is, all issues that are happening, all the arbitrary arrest, detention is happening at EOCO. Where are the other state institutions? Where are other state institutions? You keep a man from Saturday evening. You deny him access to his lawyers. And today is Monday. Very soon the 48 hours will elapse. Then we will take the next line of action.
That doesn't mean we are likely to get him a bail today.
Well, I think it's Roman Acha. He's the one keeping.
They issued a statement earlier that they will grant him bail.
At what time?
So that there is the General Secretary of the Opposition MPP, Justin Kodua Frimpong, and James Avaji is still with me in the studio. James, I want to pick his reaction to the allegation by EOCO of Miracles' involvement in an alleged financial misappropriation. You asked him that question. What did he tell you?
Exactly, Ken. He said that even before that, let me put on record that about 30 minutes after this conversation, we had the indication from the national organizer that the interrogation had started. So let me put that on record. To the 55 million alleged misappropriation, he said that is an empty allegation against him, and that if EOCO wants to prove a point, they should put him before court. Also alleging that government is using this as a diversionary tactics. This is why.
It's a shame to our democracy. It's a shame for the struggle that all of us have made, that our forefathers made to bring this country to this point. That the NDC government, under His Excellency John Mahama, want to take us backwards. But we know that with all that is happening, there is a hidden agenda, an attempt to divert attention from what the president is seeking to do by seeking for a third term as president. He doesn't want Ghanaians to talk about it. He doesn't want Ghanaians to comment about it. So therefore, let's throw in something that will divert attention. But Mr. President, you cannot be Mobutu Sese Seko of Ghana. You cannot be Idi Amin of Ghana. The constitution is clear. 2 terms is 2 terms. So it's not these antics that will take our mind from what the government wants to do by extending the tenure of the president. So if this is what they think they can do to divert attention, then they have failed. They have failed woefully. The New Patriotic Party is a strong party. We have men who are very resilient. They are men who will not be coerced by all these tactics of intimidation. And I can assure you that we shall bounce back in 2028. But when the tables turn, appointees of this government should be very worried.
And James, you also spoke to the colleagues of Dennis Miracles Aboagye and also an aide to Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. What have they been telling you?
Dr. Appiah indicated that Ken, even as late as this morning, everybody I speak to indicates that Dennis had no record of invitation, any prior invitation from the EOCO on any issue. And before, when the statement came in, then we saw that he was engaged earlier by EOCO. She confirms that to us, that there were 2 previous invitations from EOCO which he was collaborating with, and so this arrest came as a shock, especially when the man is collaborating with the investigation. She thinks that there's no need for this arrest.
I think it's a very unfortunate circumstance that we find ourselves in. Firstly, Dennis Miracles Aboagye is a well-known figure in this country. He's obviously not a flight risk. There was no need for that Rambo-style arrest that he was subjected to upon his arrival into this country. Indeed, I believe he left this country somewhere on Monday for a brief trip to the United Kingdom. I'm also aware that he had already been invited by the Economic and Organized Crime Unit. He had honored that invitation twice, so there's absolutely no need for him to have been picked up.
Like this year?
Yes, for him to have been picked up on Saturday for no interrogation to happen. Obviously, nothing has happened up until Monday. It's quite obvious that this is an attempt by the government to intimidate the opposition. This is not the first instance. These kinds of arrests have been happening essentially since the NDC government took power. And if you are aware or familiar with the history of this country and the kind of things that happened during the PNDC era, it is a little unsettling, especially for me, who has experienced that or have familial ties of people that suffered under that regime. And so to be subjected to that kind of treatment again is quite unfortunate.
That's Dr. Appiah Amwako. She is the deputy spokesperson for MPP flag bearer, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. Let's take you live to the EOCO headquarters where my colleague Maxwell Agbagba is currently stationed. Maxwell, are the supporters still on the streets? What's the latest from EOCO?
Yes, Ken. Quite a number of them are here on the streets right in front of the offices of EOCO. But Dennis Miracles Aboagye remains in the custody of the Economic and Organized Crime Office, where we've been informed that interrogations are ongoing over alleged financial and procurement-related infractions involving 55 million Ghana cedis. Now, police personnel have mounted a heavy security presence at the EOCO premises with barricades preventing NPP supporters and journalists from gaining access. Now, inside the EOCO compound itself, there are several senior NPP officials, including the party's national organizer, Haruna Nabuachi, the MP for Ekwapim North, Sami Wuku, and Dennis Aboagye's legal team, Samuel Atachia, is also in there. Now, outside the premises, a number of party figures and supporters remain gathered. A short while ago, I spotted the MP for Wejagbawe, who is also the second deputy minority whip, Jerry Ahmed Scribe, among those present. And there's still a number of party faithfuls at the scene. While security has been reinforced with heavy deployment of police officers and police vehicles, we see quite a number of them, moving around, waiting for him to be released. Now, the supporters here continue to demand the immediate release of Dennis Aboagye, or for him to be formally charged and put before a court if the state believes it has a case against him. But let's try and speak to some of the supporters who are here waiting for his release. I have some of them here with me. Hi, what's your name?
My name is Edward Nyako, yes, the TESCON president for University of Ghana, Accra City Campus.
Okay. Yeah, but what's your reaction to the continued detention of Dennis Miracles Aboagye?
Well, for this event that has happened, I think it is not prudent. If somebody or an individual, a citizen has done, the claims that came up from the EOCO office, if anybody has done such a thing, it's the course that we need to take this issue to. Do you get it? Rather than detaining the person for about 48 or 24 hours, that is uncalled for. Yes.
Okay. Now, okay, thank you for talking to us. Let me speak to another person here. Hi, sir, what's your name?
You're back, okay. So my name is Prince.
Prince, yes.
And I'm the regional organizer.
You're the Greater Accra Regional Organizer.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so the authorities said the investigations relate to alleged financial and procurement irregularities. What's your response to those, allegations for which they are continuing to detain Dennis Aboagye?
You are a journalist. You are supposed to educate, inform, entertain, and all that. Those responsibilities or honors lies on you. Isn't it absurd at the highest order to say that a supposed or alleged crime that they claim was committed around 3 or 2 years ago, it is now that they want to take steps to charge the person for the offense? Isn't it absurd?
Yeah, but that does not connect to journalism in any way.
Well, so you should it's true, Mo, it's not connected. But exactly. I was expecting you to also know or draw a correlation between that action and the agenda that they're trying to set. Because you see, the coincidence is that just around the same time, Miracle announced his bid to contest for a national position in the party. That was when they took this action. So it is clear that it is an act to gag him or to kind of subdue his interest from contesting the position of a national communication officer. Because when he becomes an official national executive of the party, he's going to be a thorn in the flesh of the NDC. And that is something they want to avoid. Because even now that he doesn't have official position, we can see what he's doing. He's done a lot of harm to the NDC. To that extent, let's just plug his wings. That is the only thing. Because he served as a coordinator for the inter-ministerial staff. He wasn't a chief spending officer. How could he have caused financial loss or misappropriate any fund when he's not
a chief? That institution.
I'm saying you are a coordinator of ministries. How are you supposed to spend? Have they asked?
But he was heading that.
But I'm asking you.
The backup to him.
No, you coordinate the ministry's actions, expensive projects and all that. That's my understanding. Unless they can tell us here and now that they have invited some of the ministers who had...
Now, finally, if EOCO decides to formally charge him, what do you expect the party to do next?
In every decent country, that's what they should have done way back. We charge him, we release you, we fight the battle at the court. But to keep him here, they are incarcerating him before they allow the court to pronounce his judgment. That's what they do. Because they know the case they have is much ado about nothing. So if we keep him here, we frustrate him. By the time we go to court and the court trashes it, we would have been done with him already.
Okay. Thank you for talking to us. So can you just have the Greater Accra Regional Chairman of the NPP, who is also here, waiting for Dennis Miracles Aboagye to be released. So like I mentioned earlier, the supporters are still here waiting for the interrogation, to end for him to be released.
Maxwell Hagbagba there, live from EOCO headquarters. Thank you very much, Maxwell. Let's go on to Zoom right now and speak to Justice Abdullahi, who's a private legal practitioner. Also joining the conversation is Abraham Amaleba, who's the director or former director of legal affairs of the governing NDC. Gentlemen, thank you very much for your time this evening. Justice Abdullahi, let me begin with you. Miracle's representatives say he has been coordinating with EOCO for more than a year since he was under investigation, and hence there was no reason to have arrested him that way. From a legal standpoint, do you think there's a threshold that EOCO must have satisfied before arresting and detaining a suspect in an alleged financial crime investigation?
So first off, let me indicate that no one has a right to determine when and how he's arrested, so long as it is within the law, and so long as the law is followed and due process is followed in effecting the arrest. You cannot determine how, where, and when you should be arrested. Nobody has that right. It is unfortunate when the arrest is made to look like it's made to smear and mischief and also to cause unnecessary attention. That I can understand. But unfortunately, you don't have that right to determine where and when you'll be arrested if you're under investigation. Except I would expect that if indeed he was under investigation and he had been reporting, he had not done anything that would suggest that he is absconding, then I would expect that he could easily have been arrested at a more appropriate time way before he attempted to travel. And if he was indeed an investigation, I would expect also a lot of other measures to have been put in place, i.e. being admitted to bail and being cautioned and being informed of some of these parameters so that he doesn't simply look like an absconding person. And so it is what makes me wonder how that investigation was being conducted and why he thought he could leave. Because if all these things had been spelled out and had been discussed appropriately, I'm sure there would have been parameters and put in place as to what he could do and what he could not do. I'm sure most of all that is happening is because maybe things were not appropriately discussed with his legal team or himself, and so he didn't think that he was restricted from moving out of the jurisdiction. Ordinarily, when you're under investigation, you should know whether or not, particularly when you have been admitted to bail, you cannot leave the jurisdiction ordinarily. If, in fact, your movement are relatively curtailed, and so you'd always have to engage the arresting authorities as to your movement, just so some of these embarrassments are avoided in the future, and also to ensure that you do not appear to be absconding. This is how it is done. So, particularly when EOCO arrests you, mostly they will tell you that you cannot leave, say, outside of Accra. You cannot go outside of Accra. Most of the times, they will tell you. So, I do not know how this one went, such that this information was not revealed to him. Similarly, if you are arrested in Kumasi or any other region, you would have been informed that you cannot go to A or B place without our information. And normally they'll put a traveling ban sort of at the various ports of entry. And so any attempt to go to any of these ports of entry will trigger the process that has culminated in the arrest of our brother.
Well, the interesting thing in this aspect is that per EOCO's statement that they released, Miracles was actually arriving at the Accra International Airport. So he wasn't leaving the country, but he was arriving in the country after taking a trip abroad. And EOCO said that he placed Mr. Aboagye on a stop list before arresting him at the airport. So is there a legal threshold that must be met before restricting a person's movement? And could that decision be challenged in court, you think?
Indeed, this is exactly what I indicated earlier, that ordinarily that's what happens. You couldn't leave because they put you on that restricted movement so that all the ports of entry and exit are aware of you. So you cannot simply just walk out or walk in. And so I'm sure at the time he was walking out, he was traveling. Maybe it didn't trigger. I don't know how it happened, but somehow it didn't trigger. Because normally the moment they pick your fingerprint, your biometrics, they share it with all the ports of entries and exits. And so he couldn't have stepped out of the country that easily. So I think that it is the reason that he was arrested the moment he returned. But that is not justifiable. This is to say that, of course, once you're under investigation, as I indicated earlier, to avoid you being what we normally call in law flight risk, i.e., to be able to run away, you are normally supposed to engage the arresting authorities of your movement. That way, it is easier for them to okay you when you are leaving. And normally, they will inform the various ports of entries or exits so that you can easily walk out or walk in. If you ask me whether that's constitutional, it is easily challengeable when some of these things happen, to the extent that I need to be informed, first off. If you can't do this on my blind side, particularly when I'm a citizen. If I'm not a citizen, it is easier for you to say that you fear that I might not come back. But if I'm a citizen, I think if you want to restrict my movement, the appropriate thing to do is to seek a court order. Without a court order, I do not think that any institution has a right to simply just be stopping people and arresting people anyhow.
Right. Justice Abdullah, I want you to hold on for me. He's a private legal practitioner. Let's bring in Abraham Amaliba, who's the former director of legal affairs of the governing NDC. Mr. Amaliba, welcome to the program. Since this arrest on Saturday, the NPP has been claiming that there is nothing to prosecute Miracle on except that this is a politically motivated arrest. I want to pick your thought on that.
It was Miracle government appointee in the last government? Yes. Did he occupy an office? Yes. Are public officials held accountable for the offices they hold? Yes. When you read the EOCO statement, it is very clear that Miracle occupied an office and there was an amount of money that went missing, and for that matter, they are holding him accountable, and not he alone. I think there's another guy from that same organization that Miracle headed. So let's look at it from that angle. There's no law that says that you cannot be arrested at any time in some places, or you cannot be arrested sometimes. Miracle was under investigation. Did he inform EOCO? Did he inform EOCO that he was leaving the country? So these are the questions that we need to ask, rather than saying that we are witch hunting people.
We know that financial crimes often involve multiple signatories and approval processes. I want to find out from you, what in your view must the prosecution prove to establish Mr. Aboagye's individual criminal responsibility rather than administrative oversight, you think?
Well, the investigation authority are the ones who conducted the investigations. So they will be in a position to establish his personal liability. But it doesn't necessarily need to be a personal liability. It can also be your stewardship. If you fail to hold the public purse as an officer of the state or to protect it, that could be a matter that you will be asked to answer. So it doesn't need to be that you personally benefited from taking the money, but it will also be that you failed as an officer of the state or a government official to protect the public purse.
Now it's almost 48 hours since he was arrested on Saturday. We don't know exactly the time that he was arrested, but of course the law says that you can't keep somebody beyond 48 hours. You either release them or process them for court. Now his lawyers say they are seeking for a bail for him. We haven't gotten any indication whether the bail has been successful or not. What other legal options are available for them now that the 48 hours is drawing ever closer?
Well, when the 48 hours expires and they still don't have bail for him, they should proceed to court, and that is where the court would deal with the matter and grant him bail.
And so what message really does the government hope this investigation will send to current and former public officers with regards to accountability, since we understand that this is an independent investigation that is being conducted by EOCO?
That's a very good question. And those of us in government now must also know that when we leave office, similar things can happen. So whilst you are in office, hello?
I'm listening to you, sir.
So whilst you are in office now, you should take a clue from what is happening and ensure that you do your things in such a way that when you leave office, you will not be called to account. And for previous government officials who have misappropriated funds or have refused to protect the public purse, they will come after you. And if they come after you, you don't need to be crying wolf, because you once occupy an office, and once you occupy that office, you'll be asked to account for your stewardship.
Mr. Malaba, please go. Hold on for me. Don't go yet. I still have Justice Abdullahi with me, who's a private legal practitioner. Justice Abdullahi, we know that the Constitution requires an arrested person be brought before a court within 48 hours. If not released, the clock is ever ticking to the 48-hour mark. If EOCO misses that deadline, what are the legal consequences, you think?
Let me say that unfortunately it never works in Ghana. The 48-hour rule never works. I remember my brother Martin took this matter up with the former Chief Justice, who I think that was Enini Aboagye, if my memory serves me correctly. And then he set up, in fact, he liaised with the IGP at the time to set up a weekend court, in fact, a Saturday court and a holiday court. But unfortunately, it has never been successful. So, in effect, what it has been is that ordinarily, 48 hours is supposed to be 48 hours, not 72 hours. But I know there's no lawyer in Ghana who will tell you that it has ever worked. Your client can be in custody for 3 weeks, 2 weeks, sometimes 1 month before they see a court for the first time. And not because it is the Constitution doesn't provide for that, but that's because, as I indicated some time back, our security agencies, the police, national security, NIB or formerly BNI, now I think they keep oscillating with their name calling, have been the biggest abusers, and if you like, the breachers of our Constitution and indeed our rules. And so for such institutions, guaranteed that they will never respect the law, and they never respect the law. As I speak, if they arrest me, I can assure you that I'll go through the same processes. It will take me the next 1 week, 2 weeks before I even get to talk to my family or friends, unless, of course, they want to use me as an example. But that is not to say that the law is wrong. The law exists. The law is correct. It must happen the way it ought to happen. Normally, your only chance of redress is to sue for of course, for the wrongs done you. But typically, you will never get any fairness or justice delivered to you in this jurisdiction. And most of the times, the arrested person even fears, because at this point, you are the one you are seeking your liberty. And so eventually, when you even obtain that liberty by being admitted to bail, you still have a lot of bigger issues to deal with. And so most people do not sue. And because of that, it has become that these provisions of our constitutions have become simply ornamental pieces in our judicial processes. We simply recite them when we need to recite them, but have very little meaning and implication in reality.
Thank you very much, Justice Abdullah. He's a private legal practitioner there. I still have Abraham Amaleba, who's the former director of legal affairs of the governing NDC. Haruna Mohammed is also the deputy general secretary of the NPP. I will be engaging them once again shortly. But in the meantime, though, let's bring you the headlines of what's coming up on Newsnight. Gemma.
So the Ghana Journalists Association demands sanctions over assault on Adom Brand's journalist Obrimpong Kwame Owusu in the line of duty.
It's not the best that a journalist in line of his duty will be attacked in such a manner. We are just demanding from the DC High Command that at least they should do all their possible best and investigate and sanction those officers who were involved.
More as research by Joy News reveals at least 18 attacks on journalists since John Mahama took office in January 2025, with 6 of these separate incidents involving the military. Also, the nation mourns the passing of Overlord of Dagbong, Yana Abukari Mahama II, as government hails his statesmanship, peace-building legacy as tributes flood in. Days after National Sanitation Day, piles of silt and refuse cleared from Accra's drains are still sitting in communities.
From the bean to the food, the children will get cholera and as well diarrhea. So we beg them to come and take the rubbish from here.
I feel so bad because what we are passing through here is not easy.
Residents say the stench is unbearable amid a fears of cholera in business.
Government describes latest round of external debt restructuring as commitment to prudent financial management whilst targeting to consolidate investor confidence.
Join the conversation on via our WhatsApp line 055-1111-997, 055-1111-997, or use the hashtag Newsnight on X.
Right, my name is Kenneth. Gyasi once again.
Mine is Gemma, Appiah.
And as I mentioned earlier to you, we still have Haruna Mohammed, who is the Deputy General Secretary of the Opposition NPP, on the line, and Abraham Amaleba is a former Deputy Director of Legal Affairs with the governing NDC. Haruna Mohammed, welcome to the program. Has Dennis Miracles Aboagye been released yet? Do you have an idea?
As now, I have not received any confirmation of his release because I'm back to the headquarters of the party. I'm not at the ground. I need to verify whether he has or he has not been.
Earlier today, your boss, Justin Kodia-Frimpong, made some damning allegations. He says that this arrest is an agenda by President John Mahama and his government to divert attention on his supposed secret agenda to go for a third term. Where did that come from? Many are wondering.
Thank you very much. I want to say good evening to your child listeners and those of us who are following you on the social media platform. And good evening to Lawyer Maleba, who is on the other side of the call for the discussion. Yes, my boss had made a very categorical statement with regard to the third term ambition of His Excellency the President. You know, this is an ambition that many people have had the opportunity to speak to. And the NDC as a party came out and distanced themselves and made it very clear that they, the NDC as a party, would not support that. And we all know the type of war that is within the leadership and the crack within the NDC. So it is very clear that the leadership of Johnson Ketia would not support that because they have a different ambition from that of the president. It took the president to come out and tell us that he not interested in that, but we can see that there is a suit that is returned to the Supreme Court with respect to that. I think there is a second suit that is there, all having similar or resemblances on the interpretation of the Constitution. Within the period that this has to be discussed, you see that this certain activities has been happening over the period brings up the ugly head to cover up the discussion of that particular matter. You also know that the Constitutional Review Committee is also very blind on this particular third term because it's a constitutional matter and it's very clear. So if such a matter is coming up and then it's gathering some momentum, and really a government of persons, a government that does not believe in their right call for developing the country, we want to divert the attentions of the people. Again, not only the third term, you know that the NDC, in one of the reports in Parliament, we are told that the Nkokon Kitty that they had, there are people that they gave it to, they stopped all the Nkokon, and they don't want us to have the discussions on that particular matter. So these people are not honest and always they try as much as possible to think something to cover up all those issues. And they will bring all manner of allegations to not allow people to talk to the real issues, which is affecting the lives and citizens of the people.
Haruna Mohammed, thank you very much. He's the Deputy General Secretary of the Opposition NPP. Abraham Amaleba is a former Director of Legal Affairs of the NDC. Mr. Amaleba, I want to wrap up with you briefly. There are those who are raising the concerns that the rights, constitutional rights of Dennis Miracles Aboagye have been violated because per the account of his camp, he was denied access to his lawyer from the beginning. He was denied and restricted of a lot of his constitutional rights. Now, though, we understand that his lawyers have been granted access hours after he was arrested at the airport. Do you believe that his rights, constitutional rights, were respected?
Well, this is an issue we have been as an issue. And when we were in opposition, I was at the forefront of some of investigations that some of our companions do. And similar things were done to us, where we were denied access to our clients and lawyers. I think that it is not a good thing, and we need to reform our security services. We need them to understand that we are in a democracy, and in a democracy, clients or people who have lawyers must be allowed to speak, and then their lawyers to see them when they are in custody. So I think that this is not just about this current government issue. This is about a systemic failure on the part of our security services. And until it is done to you, you don't know that it is wrong. So we've gone full cycle. MPP has done it. MPP has done it. I think that we all now have to come to the table and then say that never again.
Right. Abraham Amaliba, thank you very much. He's a former director of legal affairs of the governing NDC. Earlier, we heard from Haruna Mohammed, who's the Deputy General Secretary of the opposition MPP. We also heard from Justice Abdullahi, who's a private legal practitioner. In other stories, Gemma.
The Ghana Journalists Association is demanding sanctions following assault on Adom Brand's journalist Obrimpong Kwame Owusu. The journalist was assaulted on Saturday evening by men in military uniform while the journalist was covering developments during the New Patriotic Party's constituency executive elections. Obrimpong Kwame Owusu narrated his ordeal to Joy News.
On Saturday, during the NPP constituency primary elections, we all know that there's curfew in Nkwanta that starts from 5 p.m. to 6 a.m. So in the process, whilst the voting was ongoing, about around 4:59 to 5 p.m., there were some delegates who were still in the queue voting. So all that we could hear was that people were running for their lives. And when we questioned or asked what is the matter, what we were told was that the military were enforcing the curfew. So people who came to vote, onlookers or supporters of the various candidates, were all around and they were all running away. In the process, some of them collided with a motorbike. So as a good citizen, I decided to support them so that they can move on. So in the process, I saw the military coming on me, that I was filming them. I was taking video of them. So they were struggling with me. They came to me, beating me, asking me to give them by phone. And as I refused, the BNI and some other police officers came to my rescue. What I call is some sharp pain around my back and then my spine. I came to hospital yesterday. In the evening, the situation became worse, so they have to admit me.
Although regional chairman of the Ghana Journalists Association, Nana Kwabena, in an interview on the Midday News, said all those involved must be sanctioned.
Actually, it's unfortunate that this incident happened, but I strongly condemn it. It's not the best that a journalist in line of his duty will be attacked in such a manner. So we are just demanding from the DC High Command that at least they should do all their possible best and investigate and sanction those officers who were involved. And also we are demanding an apology and assurance of the safety. Yes, Mamizi.
So, in this regard, have you engaged the Ghana Armed Forces or the Regional Security Authority since the incident?
I was with them the very day the incident happened. Only that I couldn't check with them because of the pains my colleague was going through. So I have to do everything possible to even send him home. So it was the following morning, that was yesterday, that's because he couldn't sustain it, you have to rush to this hospital where they admitted him. So I have the captaincy number, which means this story is a running story. We have not finished it yet. We are go into more details, and at the end of the day, we are just demanding from them that at least they should respect the rights of journalists and the public, even when they are enforcing the curfew directives. And also, we are just demanding a qualified apology from them as well, and assure us that our protection is surely is assured as journalists, because the situation in Infanteria, if it will go on like this, then it means the purpose of being here, their presence here, it will not be achieved.
But have you been able to even establish the military person involved, the identity of the person?
No, please, ma'am.
Okay.
No. We have not been able to identify them.
What then is the support that the GJ is providing to our brother who's been injured? What are you considering?
Right now, as I told you earlier on, we are strongly condemning the whole thing. Moreover,
the Adom branch of the multimedia group in a statement is making some demands. One, that includes condemning the assault on a colleague and all other victims of the arbitrary act. Also, the brand is requesting a thorough investigation by the military high command to publicly name and shame the perpetrators, in addition to meting out the appropriate military sanctions to them. Also, it's demanding that the culprits be surcharged with all hospital bills arising from the treatment of the reporter and indeed other victims. These are contained in the statement released by the Adom branch of the multimedia group. Joining me in studio now is the senior editor in charge of special assignments at the Adom branch of the multimedia group, Mahamudu Christian Ohene, and welcome to News 9. First of all, how is Obrimpong faring?
Well, good evening, Ken, and good evening, my dear sister. Obrimpong is still at the hospital. That tells you that not everything is well with him.
Right.
He is still suffering from bodily and joint pains, and the doctors and the nurses are doing all it takes to ensure that he gets speedy recovery. In the meantime, he is unwell.
Well, what more are you doing to ensure that Obrimpong receives justice?
We have issued a statement. The Ghana Journalists Association has also issued a statement, as you are aware of. Independent Broadcasters Association has, and we have formally written a letter complaining to the military high command. The Chief of Defense Staff is about to receive a letter that we have written formally complaining and stating all the happenings on the 11th of July, 3 days ago, at the place where it happened, that is to say the Oti region and Nkwanta South, and asking the military command to launch an investigation into the matter and hopefully confirm our strong suspicion that, one, these are military persons, indeed numbering about 7,
right,
all of them male, who perpetrated the act that resulted in the injury of the journalist who was undertaking his legitimate business assignment of covering the New Patriotic Party constituency election at Nkwanta South in the Oti region. If indeed the investigation confirms what we strongly believe, we expect that the persons that committed the offense, not only against the journalist, but indeed against the other civilians who have rights like every Ghanaian, one, it should not be shelved, not be swept under the carpet. They should be named and shamed. 2, we do believe that should they be confirmed to be 1, military persons, 2, offenders as we have accused them of, then the punishment that the military structure does have for unruly behavior, for assault and so on and so forth, you are posted on duty, you take the law into your own hands, and you begin to attack the very people that you are supposed to go and give security to. Whatever is on the books of the military should be used as sanctions against them. And we also, like you already mentioned, we want to serve as a deterrent that these persons, not the taxpayer, but these persons, whether they are sergeants, they are corporals, they are whatever, the cost of treating all these persons should be debited to them. It should be taken from their salaries or whatever benefits they are entitled to as military persons. These are what we have asked so far. We do believe that if these are done, after indeed it has been confirmed that they were the persons that beat the journalists of Brampong, Bakwame Ushu, and some civilians, and that they beat them, it can't be reasonable, it can't be legitimate. But let us say that eventually it is confirmed that these were illegal. Some deterrence will have to come as a result and at the end of the investigations. So far, these are the measures that we are taking. And because the Ghana Journalists Association is on copy of the letter that we have sent to the Military High Command, because the GJ itself has shown interest and the branch in the OT region has issued a statement, because SIBA has also issued a statement, dear sister Ken, we are into this together.
Right, we are indeed in this together. But have you received an acknowledgement of your petition to the Military High Command?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yes.
We're grateful for your time. Mahamudu Christian Ohene is a senior editor in charge of special assignments at the Adom branch of the multimedia group.
And we wish our dear brother a speedy recovery.
Thanks for
you.
the opportunity.
Well, you're still listening to News Now here on Joy 99.7 FM. You can be a part of the show. So we've introduced a new segment called Your Say. We invite questions on the stories that we've brought to you so far. What do you think of the arrest of Dennis Miracles Aboagye? Fair or not? Let's hear from you. Send to our WhatsApp platform. You can even send us a voice note. Also, what do you make of the military brutality on our colleague Obrin Pomba? Let's hear from you. But in the meantime, research by the Joy News research team has reviewed at least 18 attacks on journalists since John Mahama took office last year, with 6 of these separate incidents involving the military. And we're joined in the studio by a member of the research team, Jason Day, to provide more details. Jason, your team has been gathering data on these incidents. Can you give us a breakdown of these attacks?
Well, Ken, as you've rightly said, our checks have revealed at least 18 attacks on journalists spanning from January 2025 to July 2026. And these 18 attacks contain 9 separate incidents, with 6 journalists attacked by soldiers and 3 journalists attacked by other state actors, including the police and the firefighters. The rest, which is 9 journalists, got attacked by illegal miners and unidentified persons. And these, I would just like to mention some. Our very own Carlos Kaloni, who was attacked while reporting a demolition. We also have Kwame Ese of Onya FM, who was assaulted while covering mining site issues. And our own Latif Idrisu, when he was reporting on EOCO, a protest at EOCO, and also Kofi Adede of Oyerepa Radio, who was attacked during Council of State elections.
And is there any form of justice meted out against these attacks?
Well, a report based on research conducted by an international organization, that is the Committee to Protect Journalists, CPJ, reveals that 17 journalists have been attacked with near total impunity since President Mahama took office, including the attack recorded on Saturday. We can say that almost all these cases have been met with little or no accountability at all. But the only incident in which there was evidence of any justice was when a court ordered illegal miners to compensate a journalist whose equipment had been damaged. Ken.
Jason Day is a member of the Joy News Data and Research Team. Thank you very much, Jason.
Meanwhile, the Ghana Journalists Association is alleging that 7 government workers have been killed in Nkwanta South due to military brutality in the area. The allegation was made by the GJAOT Regional Chairman Nana Kwabnainto, who described the incidents as a result of what he termed deep military brutality in the area. He made the claim while responding to questions on the ongoing curfew situation in Nkwanta South on the Joy Midday News.
Earlier on, we are strongly condemning the whole thing. Moreover, the president is aware of what has happened. Do you know that out of these brutalities, over here in Nkwanta, about 7 government workers have died. 6 people are in serious or critical condition, all because of this military brutality.
Do you have evidence to that fact?
Yes, to the extent that last all workers in Nkwanta, they came together and had their press conference, and this issue came in.
2 other stories this evening. Government has joined the people of Dagbon and Ghanaians nationwide in mourning the passing of the overlord of Dagbon, Yana Abukari Muhammad II, describing his death as a profound loss to the traditional kingdom and the country at large. In a statement issued today, the government conveyed President John Mahama's deepest condolences to the royal family, the chiefs and the people of Dagbon, as well as all Ghanaians, during what it described as a moment of deep sorrow. Before we get details of President Mahama's statement, Joy News' Northern Regional Correspondent Martina Bugri and Abdul Wahab Humza reflect on his reign and legacy.
The Bang has lost a mighty tree. The lion of Africa is quiet now. The royal drum has fallen silent, and a pillar of tradition has passed. The entire kingdom is mourning after the death of the Yana, its revered king. In every traditional area, chiefs, elders, and citizens are grieving a monarch whose leadership and presence defined the kingdom. As traditional rites begin, according to Dagbon custom, people are paying their last respect and waiting for a word from the palace. This is more than the loss of a king. It is the loss of a symbol of unity, heritage, and authority. The late Yana Abukari Muhammad II became the 41st Yana, succeeding Yana Yakubu Andani II after nearly 2 decades of protracted chieftaincy dispute between the Abudu and the Andani royal families. Yana Abukari Muhammad II, before he ascended the throne, served as the chief of Pumpunu before moving to occupy Savulogo Skin in 2014. His leadership at Savulogo earned him recognition for his commitment to traditional governance, community development, and the promotion of peace. The journey of Yana Abukari Muhammad II to the highest traditional office in Dagbon followed years of conflict over the matter of Yana Yakubu Andani II.
My colleague Collins Frimpong joins me in studio with the statement from the President as well as former Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia mourning the passing of the Yana. What does the President's statement say, Collins?
So according to the statement signed by the spokesperson to the President and also Minister for Government Communications, Felix Kwachi Ofosu, the late Yana would be remembered as a distinguished traditional ruler whose reign ushered in healing, reconciliation and lasting peace in Dagbon after years of conflict. It added that his leadership also strengthened the enduring partnership between traditional authorities and the government in promoting progress in Dagbon and across Ghana, while expressing confidence in his legacy of unity and also selfless leadership. the statement concluded that government is assuring the royal family and the people of Dagbon of government solidarity and support as they mourn him. Dr. Bawumia, that's former Vice President of the Republic, has also issued a statement acknowledging the challenging period in Dagbon's history and his contribution to bringing peace. European Union has also issued a statement on their Facebook page, as well as the Ochehine Osajefo Amotia of European has also issued a statement or expressing their sorrow. Former President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo also just issued a statement on his ex-post.
Right, thank you very much, Collins from Pon. Let's cross over and speak to Abdul Wahab, who is a reporter in the Northern region. Abdul, we've been hearing from the president and also some other dignitaries. How are residents reacting to the death of the Yana?
So the entire region is mourning the death of
Unfortunately, we've lost Abdul Wahab on the line. We will reconnect to him when we get him on the line. Ken?
Indeed, and may the soul of the late Yana continue to rest in peace, and may his memory be a blessing. Let's do business. George Wiafe is here with the latest. George?
Hi, Kenneth, and coming up, we'll be hearing from Gemma, which has described the latest round of external debt restructuring as commitment to prudent financial management and restoring investor confidence. We'll be getting you more on that one. And also, the Agri Minister, Eric Opoku, justified decision to introduce rice quota system aimed at restricting the import of that product into the country. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one stop shop for all your office essentials.
Ufie betimi adani baby a upebia. Betimi adani stadium. Hey, what a strike! Anafa kwa yebu TV and the computer game. Aha! Yanko. Atoda, ebetimi adani classroom.
Madam, me pacho menti ase.
Yo, yes I'm for subio. Ni ewo he na wonti ase no.
Nini na.
Ebetimi adani office.
Aha, orders no ahina ye ready. Okay, mundi kan fanko East Legon.
Ebetimi po, eswa ye fa ko a, ye hwehwemu wo.
Daddy, e dia na big bang theory.
Chain, mami bisa chat GPT.
Ubetimi ama ufie adani baby a opese eyibia efise emfa ho ni ne opese oye wo ufie MTN fiber betimi aboa amwaye nya 500 Mbps unlimited internet ani bo no form a free 299 Ghana cedis echo for MTN fiber bra ufie ana wadwuma mu ene ko my MTN app no so ana se bo *5057# but check fiber availability no so ana se number e wo gen no na receive fiber broadband oh baby, not to be a naya.
MTN.
Who they brush? We they brush them. Who they brush? We they brush them. Brush your teeth. Brush your teeth. Every day and night. Slide the gems and tackle them. Brush the gems away. England gems. We go brush them. Go Asia gems. We go brush them. Panama gems. We go brush them. We go.
Whatever the germs, brush them away with the new Pepsodent, now in limited edition World Cup packs. This advert is FDA approved.
Introducing Ghana's leading pay-as-you-copy photocopier leasing company. Lease an A4, A3, heavy-duty or production machine and pay for only the copies made or design your own payment plan. Simple and tietia. That's not all. Incredibly, toners, repairs, maintenance, follow-me printing, centralized tracking all come free of charge. Remember, financial prudence is the name of the game. Folks, forget about the expensive gimmicks and be smart. Join the hundreds of satisfied clients across all the 16 regions and every sector of the economy and save over 60% of your printing costs. Visit us at www.valexlease.com or call 0244 644048. Be prudent and lease a copier. Terms and conditions apply. Valex Lease is a wholly owned Ghanaian company. Valex Lease, affordable document management solutions.
You know that feeling. A hospital bill that arrives out of nowhere. A diagnosis you weren't prepared for. A system that seems designed to confuse you and costs that keep climbing. And the stress of not knowing if you are protected. Eating isn't lost. Eden Care was created to give it back to you. Eden Care is health insurance made for everyday family life. With Eden Care, getting health care is easy and you are backed by a trusted insurance partner with years of experience. No confusing terms, just complete protection for your entire family. Step back into peace. Step into experience you can rely on. Reach out right now at 059-692-1844 and choose Eden Care today. Eden Care is brought to you by Acacia Health Insurance, a member of the Enterprise Group.
This football season, Star Oil and Point Africa, they give you double. Every Monday and Tuesday, fuel up at Star Oil and get 2 times your bonus points. That's right, double points when you buy quality and affordable fuel from Star Oil. Now, fuel the game for Point Aboagye. From 1st June to 19th July, collect and redeem points in the Point Africa app for amazing rewards, including fuel vouchers, flat screen TVs, PlayStation, Bluetooth speakers, blenders, and food deals. First come, first serve. Charlie, don't just pay. Get points, use points. Download the Points Africa app today. Star Oil, still quality and affordable fuel for all. Terms and conditions apply.
Eno, you know what our father left us when he died?
Debts?
He left us land, Eno. But Nanayo said the land is his. The court said, come back in 2031.
Hey, that's not an inheritance. That's a curse, brother.
Real Ejapadia doesn't come with disputes. At Deftraco Woodlands, a 592-acre master plan gated city in Dawenya, your inheritance is waiting. Don't leave your children a court case. Leave them Deftraco Woodlands, the Ejapadia they'll be proud of. Visit woodlands.devtracogroup.com. Call or WhatsApp us today on 0208-732-302.
Kofi, I think we need to call them.
Deftraco Woodlands, where your roots run deep.
Hello, good afternoon. I am calling from your bank. We are currently experiencing a system downtime, so we need to secure your account. Please, can you confirm your account number and your login details so we can restore access immediately? Yes, your username and password, just to verify.
Beware of fraudsters. Your bank will never ask for your login details, PIN or password over the phone. Shine your eye. Spot the fraud. Stop the fraud. This message is brought to you by the Ghana Association of Banks.
If you spot the fraud, you go fit to stop the fraud. Make you know they lose God.
Welcome back to Business on News Night. Let's settle for the details. The government has described the latest round of external debt restructuring and near completion of the entire process as commitment to prudent financial management. This was captured in the statement issued by the Finance Ministry earlier today. There is more in this report.
According to the Finance Ministry, this marks another important step in the country's effort to rebuild economic resilience. It also says this will place the country's public finances on a more sustainable footing. The Finance Ministry also went ahead to say that this shows its commitment to prudent debt management, sound public financial management, and the continued implementation of policies aimed at safeguarding the country's long-term macroeconomic stability. Based on today's transaction, investors holding the Sadria designated activity company old note went ahead to exchange it for 116 million of note due in 2035 and 39 million of note due in 2037. The Sadria designated activity company is an Irish special purpose vehicle. The term is associated with Sadria note, which is 12.5% senior secured amortizing bonds, initially was issued in 2014 to finance capital expenditure in Ghana's health sector. Out of the $253 million issued, approximately $117.8 million in principal remained outstanding as of January 2026. The process, according to the government, put the country close to concluding the restructuring of the country's external debt.
And that is a Business Desk report. Meanwhile, some market watchers have described the development as timely as it will help in consolidating investor confidence. Let's hear the thoughts of Senior Fellow at the Africa Policy Lens, that is Dr. Eric Boachi.
Well, in your debt structuring, every dollar matters, and in as much as it may not be so huge, it will go in a long way to reduce our what we call it, our foreign obligations. And if we look at the idea of the Salarian loans or notes, we usually push those funding into health projects. So I'm thinking that it will be able to help the government to continue or complete some of the Agenda 11 project, health project that have been stored for some time. So generally, it's a good signal, and we hope that it helps reduce our foreign debt obligations. We will say that there has been signals from the government that the government may go back to the capital market. For example, our debt credit rating review is showing positive signal. The payment of the Eurobond before maturity is a good indication to the markets that the government is in a way credit worthy and may want to come back to the market.
Dr. Eric Boachi is a senior fellow at the Africa Policy Lens. Now, the Agri Minister, Eric Opoku, has justified government decision to introduce the rice quota system aimed at restricting the importation of the product onto the Ghanaian market. The minister, however, says that government is still working out the fine details. He has been given some details of what is being put together.
The rice sector is to ensure that we consume more of what is produced here, because that is the only way Ghana can develop.
Okay.
Now, to be able to do that, our technical team is now engaging all the stakeholders. And so from next week and the following weeks, you'll see the technical team engaging with the stakeholders. After the engagement, the policy will be fine-tuned and proper announcement will be made. It will be out of place for me to sit here and then talk about the details when the consultation has not even started.
Okay.
And so spare me, let them finish with the consultation, and when everything is settled, we announce to the public. In fact, the strategy in the entire agricultural space is simple.
Okay.
But I was thinking that you were going to applaud us, because when you showed the figures, realize that this is the first time in several years that we have achieved food inflation of below 4%. First time in several years. It has never happened in the history of our country.
Eric Opoku is the Agri Minister. Now, Cowbank continues to post some sterling earnings when it comes to its financials. The bank ended the first half of this year with profit before tax going up significantly to reach 356 million Ghana cedis. The bank also saw some significant growth in most areas of operations. Now, despite the low interest rate regime in the country, the bank saw its interest income grow to hit 451 million Ghana cedis for the first 6 months of this year. And that's all for business on Newsnight. Ken.
Thank you very much, George. And tonight, the floods are gone, but the rubbish isn't. Residents in some of the flood-affected communities say they are living in constant fear, warning of a possible outbreak of diseases as heaps of refuse and silt cleared from drains remain uncollected days after the National Sanitation Day exercise. Or the residents say the waste is producing foul odors, attracting flies and rodents, and could easily be washed back into drains if another heavy rainfall occurs, increasing the risk of cholera and other sanitation-related diseases. Miracles Aboagye reports.
National Sanitation Day exercise saw residents, institutions and waste management companies clear choke drains and remove debris from flood-hit communities across Accra. However, a Joy News tour found heaps of refuse still abandoned in parts of Alado Fountain International School Street, Ring Road, Adabraka, Odona, Abosokai, Kaneshi, and Teshi days after the cleanup exercise. Residents fear the uncollected waste could pose health risk, particularly to children and food vendors operating close to the heaps of refuse.
This is Fountain International School here, and the kids have been buying food from here, and we have some of the rubbish and the dumps here. So we beg the government to come and take them from here, because from the bin to the food, the children will get cholera and as well diarrhea.
Me person me fan in them. Me person cholera ba chimi. Ne ba. Nti o me fan on tem.
So wow buy me wa wo bi. Eduane ne to aduane wa.
I sell food here, yet the flood debris is still piled beside my store where children come to buy food.
The waste could breed diseases like cholera and malaria. Government should come and clear it.
While welcoming the cleanup exercise, residents say its impact will be short-lived if the waste is not promptly evacuated. They are calling on the relevant authorities to clear the refuse before it is washed back into drains during future rainfalls.
Monday, last 2 weeks, Since
the floods, we haven't been able to afford waste collection, so the debris remains and sometimes ends back in the drains.
This isn't ordinary refuse. It's properties destroyed by the floods that needs to be cleared.
Residents say sustaining the gains made during the cleanup will depend on the timely evacuation of waste and equitable support for all flood victims. Namoko's report read to you.
Miners have besieged the wetlands of Ahring, polluting the Subin River in an activity they describe as a cooperative initiative endorsed by the Responsible Cooperative Mining and Skills Development Program. The miners, working just inches away from the Bekwai-Esiwa Road, have so far failed to produce any mining licenses, with the exception of a letter signed by the Deputy National Coordinator for the program, George Gyasi Jr. Traditional authorities tell Joy News the miners have failed to produce or provide the needed mining licenses, but have brought in armed thugs to continue mining. Erastus Asaridonko reports.
Just at the edge of Ahring, a small farming community in the Bekwai district of Ashanti region, excavators are busily attacking the wetlands. The mining activity is happening inches away from the Bekwai-Esiwa Road. The only thing separating this illegal activity from the tarred road is this fencing of roofing sheets. The EPA's environmental assessment regulations prohibit destructive activities, including mining in environmentally sensitive areas like wetlands, without thorough environmental impact assessments and special authorization. Mining in and around wetlands, such as river basins and marshes, requires explicit approval per the Water Resources Commission Act 1996, Act 522. But Joy News sources within the Ahring Traditional Council indicate no such licenses have been adduced by the miners. The only document shown to them is a letter signed by Deputy National Coordinator for COMSDEP, George Gyasi Jr., authorizing mobilizing of equipment to go on site for cooperative mining. A cooperative mining with no indigene as a shareholder, no EPA permit, and no mining license from the Minerals Commission. But already, the Subin River has been polluted, the wetlands gone, and mining inching closer to the main road. A man who calls himself Joshua called our news team claiming the site is a cooperative mining initiative. When I asked of his documents, he hung up.
From Joshua, cooperative mining, your office, a work school, a primary school, after you have started every man, you say will be at the end, say will be at the for can not just your own person abandoning to a demon baby man.
My number way or WhatsApp, child license in the Sunday. Reporting for Joy News, Erastus Asaridonko, Ahring, Bekwai District, Ashanti Region.
We've been joined by Daryl Bosu, who is the Deputy National Director of Arocha, Ghana. Welcome to Newsnight. Your statement refers to agencies actively promoting illegal mining. Which states or non-state actors are you referring to?
Good evening to you, and thank you for having me. I think when we talk about states here, we're talking about the government, we're talking about the executive, we're talking about all agencies connected to the executive, which means the police, the municipalities, and all of them, Environmental Protection Agency, Minerals Commission, all of them. These are the people we are talking about. And then when we're talking about the non-state actors, I know sometimes we're talking about CSO, some traditional church, and even community people. So I think in respect of the statement we release, it's more of an issue where the state has reneged on its responsibility to protect citizens, first of all, by not being proactive in dealing with illegal mining. And listening to the particular story that you just reported on now with even issues of people coming, pretending they are working under responsible cooperative mining, actively undertaking illegal activities, the state is watching on. These are the sorts of things that I think that the state has not been very proactive and is allowing for impunity to fester.
We are grateful for your time this evening, Deputy National Director of Arocha, Ghana, Daryl Bosu.
And as I mentioned earlier, we have a new segment called Your Say. We are soliciting for your views on the stories we've shared with you so far. Some of you also sent us voicemails. We will be reading them to you shortly. My colleague Adam is in the studio to bring us the say of our audiences. What are they saying about the stories we've been doing so far?
Yeah, so our audience have responded very well to this new episode we started. So let me read a few comments in here. This one is coming from Mustafa in Lower Menyakroba, who says, the Dalton Thomas and the NDC anti-oral squad. This is not about the EOCO. This is about perceived crime. Nana in Spintex Road says, where were the MPP supporters when Chikata was picked up by the same investigative body EOCO at church? And then Ahmed in the UK says, when oral works, MPP cries. When it does not work, they mock that oral is dead. We also have lots of comments here, but let's listen to two people who shared their comment via voice note. We have Desmond, and then we have another friend called Francis from Agbozome.
Kenneth, Gyasi. I'm Desmond Wama from Brain in Kumasi. I think what happened to your colleague is uncalled for, and everybody involved in should be dealt with. It shouldn't go beyond the compensation of the victim, but they should be dealt with according to the law. Thank you.
Hello, good evening, Joy FM. It's your brother Rasi Militi inside Agbozuma Kleko in the Ketu South Municipality of Volta region. As for me, it is fair to arrest Michael Aboagye. Okay.
Okay, yeah, so these are some nice comments. Thank you for your voice notes. So yes, let me also read one other on security forces. This is from Da Costa and Kumasi. It says security officers will continue to abuse innocent civilians as long as they believe they can act without consequences. The various security agencies must hold their personnel accountable, publicly condemn acts of abuse, and ensure that officers who violate the rights of citizens face the full force of the law. But Kenneth, yes, beyond this, there are a lot of things trending. And today, the biggest news is the arrest of Dennis Edward Aboagye, popularly known as Miracles. I have this beautiful soundbite for you. Let's listen to it, then we have a conversation.
Okay. What's happening here, Adam?
Well, as protests, at demonstrations, you always have very interesting characters. And today we had this young woman in tears.
Yeah.
And all she's saying is, "Munye mi papa, mommy." Yeah, so EOCO.
But why are you laughing though?
I'm laughing because I've seen the video. You see, and she's a bit older. I mean, I'm not saying that that can't be Miracles' daughter, but she looks very grown. So people were asking, is Miracles aware that she has some daughter somewhere?
Yeah, well, yes, Kenneth. So we end on this note and we plead to EOCO, to the security agencies, and to the police. We have a very simple message. Ken, pass it on to them for me.
Yes, indeed. Edem Kojo, thank you very much. So Yoko, over to you. Why? Also, the Papa Mano. And that does it for News 9 this evening. Thank you very much for being a part of the show. My name is Kenneth. Gyasi.
Mine is Gemma. Appiah.
Don't forget to do the 2 this evening. Brush your teeth.